Have you ever dreamed of diving through the sky with your friends? Well, Skydive is here to help. Skydive is a competitive multiplayer battle experience focused on being the best in the sky. Today we're going to look at this game and the build up to Prototype 2.
I'm Noah. I'm one of the programmers on the team, and I've been working on the sound manager, then the player stats, and now I'm working on I just finished the player base ability class, and then now I'm working on the squid diver ability specifically. Really all I did was get it so the stun actually works with the player ability, and this being a player ability base class, it doesn't have any functionality. It just kind of like outputs some variables when you like the space bar. If you're in the window, it'll show when the ability got used, when the ability's duration ended, and then when the cooldown is done. And so that's set up for future use and integrated. So like, clear this out. If you go and get stunned, you won't be able to, for the duration of the stun, you won't be able to input your ability. The problem I ran into with making the space class and then moving on to making the specifically the diver ability, I had messed up with the protection levels, so I'd left like some of the variables you needed to have access to as private rather than protected, so then the child of that base class could actually use them. And then some other override stuff I needed, like virtual, and forgot that or something like that. So it was some like syntax stuff that I had forgotten. And so like the base class would work and had all the, like, you could do all the stuff, but you couldn't inherit it and actually change those functionalities because it's stuff I forgot. But that's what I've been working on. So then next I'm hoping to get the squid ability working, so it's not just debug log stuff showing up. It's instead like a little squid guy comes out of the diver and does squid things.
Hi, so I'm Jerry Klong. I'm part of the audio team here on Skydive, and my main job is to work on the sounds for the game, like UI and gameplay sounds, and some of the sound effects and voiceover stuff. It's not too complicated, like the process. Kind of just go off the list, find what sounds I need to make, and then whether or not if I can make that using synthesizers or in the program, or if I need to like find some samples. For example, if I was to go off this list, one of the sounds is like a log impact, just kind of like a hollow thud, probably. That would probably be something I would have to find online. So I do use SoundSnap because that's given to us on the university with the license that you get. So these are all free to use, or not free to use, but royalty free-ish. And usually once I find the sounds I like, I pull up Ableton, bring in the MP3 file, the sound file, and then from there I EQ it a bit, change the pitch a bit, just to make it fit the game a little bit more.
What's up? My name is Peter Rath. I am a sub-lead environment artist, and I'm in charge of making all of the 3D backgrounds for Skydive. My process basically is starting off with concept work. I use software like PureRef, which is a document that you could just scatter all of your different artworks on, kind of get a feel of what you want to make. And then I go into Maya, 3D modeling software, and kind of just start hard surface modeling. This is all low poly, so not really that difficult. Once I get a basic rough feel and get some initial concepts into the actual game, I get further feelings of how things are supposed to look and how they're supposed to go. And then eventually I go into Substance Painter, a 3D or 2D texturing software painting tool, and add all the textures and materials to all the objects, and then we throw them into the game.
So I'm Michael. I've been working in the programming team. My main role throughout the last couple weeks has been working on predetermined traps for this game. So we have like a crusher trap that I worked on. There's fish target, or a fish trap where we have like some fish that go across the screen and would attack the player. And most recently I was working on a vine trap where we have a vine with monkeys swinging on the vine from the left to the right of the screen or the right to the left. Most recently, this last week, I worked on this swinging vine trap. There will be monkeys that spawn on the vine. We set it up. We figured we'd only want one monkey swinging per vine, but we set it up so that you could have multiple. So if we go in here and just give it a play, you'll see the vine go from left to right side of the screen. Once Unity does its thing, it's giving me time to talk about the trap a little bit more. So we actually use a sprite for a vine. Right now it's just a temporary thing, and we add bones to the sprite. So you'll kind of see it here that it makes the sprite more dynamic, and you'll see it kind of like wiggle as it goes across, like you might see with an actual physical vine.
My name is Christian Romano. I'm part of the design team. I'm one of the 3D modelers for level design. I worked on Jungle, and I just kind of help out where I need to be. I look at reference photos from stuff people have made or stuff that exists in real life, and I go, oh, that's neat. I wonder how they did that. And oh, that's cool. That would look good mixed with this piece from another ship. I kind of cut them up and then blend them together just to see what a good idea of what my ship would look like. And then I use that as a reference. And then I give it my own spin, like changing up how design's looking, or completely cut it off and rotate it a different way. For my design process, I pretty much just thought of, since we're falling in a jungle, what would they be falling down? I thought a jungle cliff face, so I got some rocks from an old model from a couple years ago, took some of those rocks, made some rock walls, and then took a bunch of 3D model trees that me and some of the other people working on the level made, threw those on there, threw in some moss stuff, and then kind of made a modular system, kind of like Lincoln Logs. So you can mix and match the pieces together to have completely unique level designs without having to make more than a couple assets.
Now that we've seen the early development of Skydive, let's look at Prototype 2 and some of the improvements planned for the future.
I'm Elijah Winchell. I'm the UI, UX, QA, audio, and I guess videography lead. I'm basically the miscellaneous lead for anything that's not our programming for this project. Building up to Prototype 2, everyone was just kind of finishing what they were supposed to. Half the group is kind of separate from the prototype because we have these videos and we also have someone working on Steam implementation. The main thing that's in the game right now, because most of the UI is just done, like it's going to be how it is until the game's finished. It's just kind of finishing up the audio, finishing the sounds and the music. For Prototype 2, it's definitely a lot stronger than the original prototype. It was more fun too. I think people seem to enjoy it more. I enjoyed it more. Being able to just like see our vision of the game a lot more realized was pretty cool. It's just gonna kind of be finishing up the assets and implementing them all. That's the biggest next step. Things that'll be changed are gonna be kind of a lot of small things, but all those small things together will really polish up the game, make it a lot more cohesive and more of a finished product than where we're at right now.
My name is Olivia Stryker. I made some of the 3D model background assets for the jungle, and I played through playtest number 2. It was very surreal seeing some of the things that I made in the background stages of the jungle, and not to mention some of the other levels. It was very fun watching everyone play everything, whether I was actually playing it or I was watching other people play. When I was watching other people play, it was fun watching them collaborate together and having fun, but also discovering many bugs. As I discovered many bugs myself when it was my turn playing. When I was playing, one of my favorite glitches was falling through the floor, especially on Jungle. And a little on Ocean too, but that's fine. Some of the other fun ones were player 1 becoming invisible or unavailable on the select menu, and the word go haunting you and you don't even load it. I would definitely have fun doing something like this again, and I know I'm probably biased, but I would recommend this to somebody else to play, because it's very fun and competitive, especially if you're with a good group of people you know and you just want to laugh.